What's up, guys? Tony here with Shed Talk. Excited to be back. It's been a little while. Wanted to first start off, you'll see some things come out here about, Shed Talk itself. And obviously, the camera looks a little different here. So I do have my guest here, though, Mr. Jackson. He is my old gym teacher. And we want to talk a little bit.
Health and physical education. Tony.
Health and physical education,
Yeah,
but
man.
we know where your good times came was from the
Absolutely.
gym teaching and the dodgeball. So,
Yeah,
but to start though, as you see, obviously Nate is not here, and as friends, Nate and I, we've been close for 10 years, and sounds like a breakup. It's not, but Nate and I decided that I'm gonna do this by myself going forward. Great friend of mine. We started this together, and we told ourselves instead of ruining a friendship, we would rather, keep the friendship as we have for the last 10 years and move forward and do our own thing. He's a great man. He helped me a lot. We did a lot doing this, and we're going to keep moving. But back to the story. We're here with Mr. Jackson, DePhilip Jackson, health and wellness teacher at Swatara Middle School. Home of the Panthers. That's where me and Neil went, and
man.
we're going to talk about Mr. Jackson, what he does. My favorite teacher of all time. Honestly, he's been an inspiration, and I got some great questions for you. I know we got some things to talk about.
Absolutely.
We've been talking about it for weeks.
Absolutely.
It's just been a minute because I've been I bought a house and it sucks, but hey, we're back. So want to start. Obviously, when I first met you, I was obviously your student. What, started your teaching career?
Oh, man. I guess it started being the oldest of a bunch of brothers and sisters. You know what I mean? And that's when, I guess, when you're the oldest and you grow up somewhat middle class. Like I said, my parents, they were great. We never had a need for anything, but they taught us, want and togetherness and things. So, like, when you're the oldest, like we was talking earlier, like it's my job to make sure nobody dies.
Right.
As long as the house is still intact, everything was somewhat kosher. I think that really started my teaching career because I had to figure out what to do with like 7 girls and a brother.
Yeah, that could be a lot, right?
So when you're in a house, 7 girls and a brother, there's all kinds of things you try to do to keep everybody entertained, to keep the house, once again, like I said, from burning down,
Yeah.
so to speak. So, I think that started my teaching career because I learned how to talk to people to get them to do what I wanted while making them think that it's what they wanted to do.
Right.
So, like, once you get into that and those little games, like when it comes to teaching, like, it's not that manipulative, so to speak, but then at the same time, you're trying to move many cats in one direction.
And you're trying to help people move in the right direction.
Absolutely.
Obviously I've always known teachers to be people that, not only, obviously people are like, oh, teachers are underpaid, teachers do so much. It's true. Like, teachers do a lot. Teachers really, you build all these kids up. You've had how many kids? You probably don't even have a number at this point. You've been teaching. You've 15 years.
Yeah,
exactly.
15.
Like, that's a lot of kids you've had in your time, and you're helping them to grow to be who they are. That's so hard to do.
And like you said, I think it's something like with me and my personality, something I fell into.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I've never been a loud guy or the rah-rah guy. I love my sports, but at the same time, I've always had responsibility since I can remember. So all that extra stuff, if it trumped my responsibilities, then it truly became extra.
Right.
So I had to go home, I had to do things, I had schoolwork to do. I wanted to still play football.
Right.
You know what I mean? And if you didn't have your grades right, you weren't playing football. So
True.
then that was intrinsic that. And plus, I'm a coach's kid, so my dad was a coach. So, like, what I look like being a coach's kid on the bench.
Yeah.
So,
I had that too. Dad coached me.
Yeah. So, like, even with those little things growing up, like, I worked at both Boys and Girls Clubs in Harrisburg City. I worked at Berry Hill. I worked at the Hall Manor Boys and Girls Clubs. I did those. My parents were martial arts teachers.
Oh, no shit.
At the boys club. Like, my mom and dad are like Lethal Weapons in the state.
All right, I gotta watch.
Yeah,
I gotta watch myself.
That's the kind of house I grew up in. So it was quite interesting. Like I said, I'm gloriously thankful for the parents that I got. You know what I mean? Parents that I had. None of our babies been in jail yet. So I mean, we're still young. But at the
Right.
same time, like I said, it was a good time, man, growing up.
That's
Like,
awesome.
I definitely had some phenomenal memories. Like, growing
Well,
up.
what are some of your most fond memories of, you know, growing up and kind of what led you to be who you are today?
I guess all the losses, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, it wasn't great, you know what I mean, all the time. But, I mean, like I said, you don't really remember too many of the victories, but the times you couldn't get what you want, or the times you try to do this and it didn't happen. Like, my parents are always like, figure it out. So any time that a new challenge, you know what I mean, came up, I think, and I succeeded. Maybe I didn't get it what I wanted this way, but I got what I wanted or what I needed that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Some of those are like some of my greatest victories. And I was always appreciative of my parents taking all like 8 of us out every summer. Like every summer we went to some beach, we went to somewhere, some bus trip. Like my grandma organized it, and we was always out. So like we never really like stuck in the city.
Yeah.
They were able to show us that there was more than just Harrisburg.
Oh, yeah.
There's more than just Pennsylvania. Like there's a whole world of people and difference and everything out there. So some of those, probably as a youth, are some of my favorite things that I remember. Just going out with my sisters and my brother, doing those things, doing family stuff.
Yeah,
That's dope.
those are the best times. I mean, that's where you build character to be. That's always how I built character. Because when I went to the beach, we would do the same shit. We'd go to the beach every year. We always went to Sea Isle City, New Jersey.
Yeah.
My favorite spot. My mom, my 2 uncles, and all of our kids would all go, and it would be a wild time. But that's where the crucial moments happen. That's where we used to race down the boardwalk. Literally, the 3 dads challenged I think there's 6 of us, 6 males of the siblings. They challenged us to literally like a foot race down the block. I think it was a 10-block foot race.
Ooh.
And it was pretty much a relay.
Right.
They weren't touching us. They may have been in their 30s and in their still prime, I guess. They could still do it. They ain't catching us. I mean, we were too fast. We're young. We got energy. You know what I mean? Like
energy to spare. I remember.
too much time. But
I remember all that energy.
well, who are some of your like biggest motivators and who inspired you to do, you know, all of this other than, you know, family stuff?
I mean, honestly, like history. Yeah, I'm like I've always been in a history buff. Like I always would like to know like things happen, like why does things happen? Like so I always looked at. I think one of the things that I was thankful for with my parents is my education. So I was able to learn about, say, the history of France or the history of Greece or the history of Africa even. And I learned that some of the greatest scholars, some of the greatest teachers, like on our planet, they were in Africa. You know, Africa had great cities, phenomenal cities, and all the greatest, like the Italian artists, maybe some of the Greek artists, and all those, like Socrates and all. Most of their information came from there. But here's a funny note. I think the story was like the Earth tilted a little bit extra, like 800 years ago, maybe 1,000 years ago, and it started making the Sahara Desert bigger. Okay. And then some of those great civilizations ended up dying off and being pushed to the edge, which kind of created the Hannibal, when Hannibal came across the elephants. So that kind of forced that. And then they also with the Renaissance, when a lot of the Moors came in through Spain and stuff and helped people out through Europe and stuff like that. So I love learning about like the history, because like the cradle civilization is Africa. Some of the greatest minds, they say like if you go to Africa now, like you can find the tallest person in the world and the shortest person in the world. You know what I mean, there. So like some of those things, like just learning about that when I was little helped me like just want to spread some of that knowledge. You know what I mean? Just like there's things that we don't know. And
Absolutely.
I figure if we can get like a good base education, you know what I mean, if we can get things like what's that class? Civics class.
Civics.
You know what I mean, we had to get things that we can agree on. Like if we can agree on this, then we can move forward. Like if we can agree on like, hey, we love football, then great, yes.
Right.
So now we can move forward. Like we love football enough to play it, like great. Like so
let's
we
play.
Can agree on let's play. Like we got to hustle, let's win, and all that stuff. So I think like some of the greats, like those guys, hearing about that when I was little, like helped me actually like steer me to being one of those great educators.
Yeah, no, I mean I think you know the history. I'm a history buff myself. Yeah. I mean it depends on, you know, what you like and what you studied. Obviously, a lot of the curriculum that I was brought up on, you know, Swedera taught me certain things, and I went to McDevitt, and they try to push religion, and they try to push all this.
Like
and
religion is
it's
dope
important.
Too.
That's a part of history, but it's like it's so siloed. There's so much more to this world. There's so much out there that they don't teach you. I mean, there's curriculums. They don't give you everything. But at the same time, do you really have the time to give everything? It's a lot of learning.
It is a lot of learning, and this is why, like I said, education is crazy important. Like I think that like school maybe shouldn't even stop for some of us at 12th grade. I think that like if you can't get certain grades or certain stats or know certain things, like maybe you should be held back. I know in other countries they don't even start like the educational learning until you're like 10 years old.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I mean they do a lot of stuff with like teaching you to be a good human. How do you communicate with somebody else? Conflict resolution.
Right.
Like, they do that stuff in a lot of other countries, and we don't really do that here. I mean, it's not that we can or don't have the money, but I think our society kind of wants that freedom.
Yeah.
And I think when you do give that up and you do start 1984ing things, you know what I mean? Is that 84, 85, whatever the movie? What's the book? Is it 1985? You're smart. The old book with the people and they're all like mind controlled. I think it might have been 1985 or 1984. But
I don't remember, to be honest.
Oh, it was. We can look it up later. But that everybody was taught the same thing. Everybody did the same thing. Everybody knew the same thing. Wasn't no real freedom of thought. And I respect freedom of thought. Freedom of thought is dope.
No, yeah.
But we can't really have too many freedom of opinions. You know what I mean? Because that's when we get in trouble. You know what I mean? That's where our argument, we're like, okay, I'm a Niner fan. Like, you're a...
Terrible.
Right, I know.
It's all right. The Eagles were 4-11-1, so I can't talk.
The hated Eagles fan. So, like, then that's where a difference of opinion on. But we got to remember at the same time, while we're yelling at each other and throwing hot dogs over, like, we both love football.
Oh, yeah.
So let's understand we love football.
We want to win.
Right, we want to win. You want to keep football moving. But at the same, like, one of my things, like I said, being a PE teacher, is I didn't like cheating.
Right.
Like, I remember one of my worst memories as a kid was being cheated out of a football game. You know what I mean? And it just cut, like, we didn't win, we didn't lose, we were like cheated out of it. And it was like really nobody's fault. It was like a holding that we saw, and it was like blatant, but it wasn't called.
No
I
call,
remember
yeah.
when I was playing baseball. Oh, this cuts me. I still remember to this day. Our first base was for a championship game. To go into the championship game, the first baseman got the grounder, slipped, dropped the ball, picked up the ball, and dove, tagged the base with the ball and glove. Then the person got to the thing. And a dude called him safe, and the guy like ran through like that's not in the call.
Yeah.
But then like that was a call that he made, and then I remember the speech that the coach told him, like, sometimes fellas, like, things just don't go your way. Yeah, I mean, and we're all sobbing, bawling.
Oh yeah, of course.
Like, we knew the call.
You're there. You're motivated to win. Yeah, you knew you were there to win.
The championship game, we wanted snow cones and frosties.
Right.
You know what I mean? But. And that was he did the right play. Like, the dude knew he did the right play. Me at third base knew he did the right play. The coaches knew. Even the referee had to talk about it, or the umpire.
Right.
He talked about the other dude, and he said, you made the call. I called him out, and he couldn't want to go back and change it.
Right.
That wasn't their, that was the game-winning run, but they still had like another out. So the game would have to keep going. So just one of those memories, man, that just teach you what's fair, what's not fair.
And that's the shitty thing about life, is life really isn't fair. I mean, there's a lot of unfairness in a lot of different ways, and that's a whole nother topic. But like, life is so humbling at the same time. You know, you're gonna have, like we were talking about this earlier, like, you have your wins, you have your losses. You have to, if you win, great, you did something right. If you lose, you learn from it. And like you said, if you get cheated, then you learn from it's like, what happened? Like, this is bullshit type.
Like I said, I remember, like, I never wanted, you get those feelings, like, oh, I don't want this feeling for, like, nobody else. So, like, kind of getting into sports and making sure stuff was fair, like, helped me, like, even raise brothers and sisters. Like, when I was working at the Boys and Girls Club, like, I always ran the games. Like, I didn't care if you won. I didn't care if you lost. I'm calling it down the middle. Yep. Like, and there's going to be no cheating. Like,
I remember bitching at you in middle school.
There's no cheating. No. Like, I'll blow up the whole game. Everybody sit down. Like, right now, we're on the last.
No, deadass. I remember that about you. Like, it didn't matter, because I was like you, obviously. I was competitive. And I wanted to win.
Competition is dope.
Everybody is whatever. When we played dodgeball. Yes. That's how we settled our differences. Game. He was the genius at this game, and he was the facilitator at the same time.
Like, all y'all wanted me to play. Like, no, I can't play.
Nope, you're a facilitator.
Not my position. Like, to play with you, I want to make sure the game is fair, down the middle. You win, you lose, you lose. Shake your hands. Yep. Small gym.
Small gym at Sweater Middle School solved every issue that we had.
Like, look, we can dodgeball it up. Like, we can do, like, we did series. Like, we did, even over the past couple of years, man, we did, like, all kinds of dodgeball tournaments with the kids. Like, dodgeball, like, it's life. You learn, you got to get out. You know what I mean? But even in certain games, like in my game, if you get out, there's a chance that you may come back in.
Right.
But you need like your teammates to do what they're supposed to do to catch the ball or to make the basket.
The basket was
the basket was like
clutch.
No. Like
Those
you got
were
everybody
clutch
went
moments.
crazy like when a basket comes. But then that's what I love about the game because you always had that smart kid that knew somebody's gonna make a basket, and then he would wait by the line, and as soon as people would come in and people would run in,
boom,
wham,
boom, boom.
Yeah, he would hit you
I
off
was
the-
that smart kid.
Yes, yes.
I did that.
Because that's how you do it. Like, all right, you're going to make this basket, so I'm on to the next move. How do I keep helping my team winning? Let's get the boom, boom, boom. I'm right there getting the next best players out because you know who they're going to
strategy.
be. It's all about strategy.
That's
There's strategy even in dodgeball. So, like, even those little things, you can teach big concepts.
Right.
With something that's just so simple. You know what I mean? Like I said, even about the one kid I was talking about you that, like I said, I had Chase Edmonds in class.
Oh,
Easily
Chase.
one of the best athletes, like good dude. But even him, as great as he is, was not the best athlete. Like I said, I had in my class. I had a gymnast kid, and he wasn't a ball sport athlete at all. He didn't want to play anything that had to do basketball, mat ball, kickball. He didn't want it. But anytime it came down to dodgeball, he always wait to be the last person out and just start wailing on kids. Just wailing. Nobody knew he had a cannon like that. But
If you can hide your talent.
Yeah, and he, like I said, ball sports not his thing. Gymnast, he was a dancer. Like I think he was on a step team, but when it came, like he liked being competitive in certain situations. So he was that single sport guy, or an individual sport guy. So when it was just him and like 5 or 6 dudes on the other team,
right?
That's when he would get like
he became in his element. He was like,
"Oh,
it's me against the world.
That was his stuff.
I'm here."
Like, and then when he was done, he won a couple games by himself. He'd do like a standing back tuck or a couple backhand sprints.
That's sick.
Like he was a phenomenal athlete.
And those, I mean, I knew a gymnast growing up.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, they're ball sport athletes. There are a lot of them, and it doesn't matter what sport. There's a lot of good athletes that came out of this area for soccer, football, basketball. Harrisburg is a hidden gem of a lot of athletes, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But the gymnasts are the biggest. And I knew a kid, my neighbor back in the day, it was his friend, and actually he went to McDevitt a couple years after me. And he was the smallest dude on the football field. He was a freak athlete, but he grew up being a gymnast.
Yeah.
And I would see him do some wild shit, like upper body strength with gymnasts is unbelievable. I have never seen an athlete like that in my life. Like, you can be the fastest on the field. You can have the strongest foot to kick a field goal or kick a ball. You can have the best shot in the game. But you can't do what a gymnast does.
Oh my God!
Those guys are freaks. Amazing.
They are super freaks. I don't care. Like I said, there's dudes that I know that can get their heads above the rim in playing basketball, but they can't throw a baseball like to save their lives.
Exactly.
You know what I mean, most of these gymnasts, they are like all sport type guys. You know what I mean? And that's what they do. Like
I think they build on their core. That's what it
was.
was.
And their abs are crazy because they do the planks and. I'm not doing planks.
No, and I'm not even getting my ass. I'll get my ass on the bar, but I can't pull myself up. I can't swing. Like, you see people just rolling around these damn things. I'm like, how? How are you that freaking nature athlete?
In college, to be a PE teacher, like we had to take a whole bunch of teaching sports, and one of the sports we had to take was gymnastics. That's where that gave me my respect. Yeah, I mean, for gym. So I'm a big football player. Like, oh, gymnastics, easy,
right.
This class was ridiculous because my teacher, Dr. Tracer, rest her soul, she set up a grading system. Like if you wanted to get an A, like you had to do a round off back handspring or something, or a standing tuck, or you had to do multiple backflips on a trampoline, or do a full big spin on the bar. So super competitive Jackson. So I'm up there trying to do.
You trying to do the spin?
I ended up ripping like all the skin off of my hands and everything. Like I had to sit out football practice. I got like made so much fun of because I couldn't do it because it was all open and stuff.
Yeah.
But like I wanted an A. Like would I look like doing anything that wasn't like an A? Like I want a B. You don't want a B.
No, I want an A.
I want an A. So I'm gonna try to do the big hand arm.
I'm
swing.
going all out for this one. Yeah. There's all these other options, but I'm gonna go for the biggest one and the best one.
Like
I can swing around the bar.
Right?
That's
like
tough.
the full swing now. Mind you, I've never gotten it.
Right.
But I tried.
Hey, you tried, and as long as you tried. Right.
So it was a good time.
An A for effort.
Right? But
now,
we did a whole bunch of other stuff. So yeah, gymnastics class was fun. I had a lot of respect for that class.
Oh, yeah. But I have an old teammate, or not an old classmate of ours had a question for you. If you remember John Bissett.
Yeah, I remember
Johnny
Johnny.
B.
Yeah.
He asked, a question from the community pretty much, how does it feel? We talked about Chase. How does it feel that you taught somebody that's now in the NFL? He's doing big things. I mean, he had a hell of a year this year, to be honest. Like, I think he's better than Kenyon Drake. I'll put that out there. He is not as strong and big as Kenyon Drake, but as an athlete, he is better. But how does that feel that you taught him? Like, what is that connection like?
It reminds me of one of my favorite Chase Edmonds story. And if you know Chase, this is him. Yeah. So Chase obviously lost his jump rope packet the day that it was due. He couldn't find it. Yeah, he lost it somewhere. He didn't know where it was. But he didn't let that like deter him. You know what I mean? At the same time, he was upset, and he knew, me, like, you got a 0. Like, where's your paper? Oh, I hear, I don't hear, here it is, Mr. Jackson.
Right.
Here's your 0. Right? But he was like, yo, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? I was like, you going to do it? I was like, all right, I'll give you ninth period. Like, come back, see me ninth period. You get all the jumps done. Like, I'll fix your grade. Like, I'll look out for you, or like, it's whatever. My man came back nonstop, did every jump on the jump rope packet, even that special jumps like the double jump and the arm cross jump and the 4-count jump.
And they were hard.
Nonstop. Took him like 7 minutes. Dude just passed out like on the ground after he did, but he did them all the jumps, all 20 some odd points, nonstop. Just busted out because he had to go to practice and everything like that. He busted out, went and had a decent day of practice. I think it was like a Wednesday or something like that. But that's like one of my favorite, and that shows you like the hunger, the tenacity that you have. Like, if you want to be great, like, you got to be willing to do things that other people aren't going to do. You know what I mean? And there's plenty of times where I had offered the same opportunity. Kids were like, yeah, okay. Go on next class, Mr. Jackson.
Right.
Like, this is just gym, Mr. Jackson. Here, toss these balls.
Right. Probably called a lot of shit, but hey, you stick to your gut, you stick to what you know, and that teaches discipline. I mean, I was his teammate. No, I wasn't close with him after. I knew him in high school. Right. I keep in contact with him here and there, but like, when I knew him as a teammate, that's how he was, because I played basketball with him, and there were 3 guards. It was me, Chase, and Sean Stickle.
Yeah,
the 3 of us.
Stickle,
right, the 3 of us were the guards of that team. Mr. Smith was the coach at the time.
Yeah, Smith.
Man, I remember all those moments. He was hard to be a team, and it wasn't hard to be his teammate. He was like, if you ever watched The Last Dance, and Michael Jordan was that dickhead on the court, like, that was Chase.
He wants greatness.
He wants to win. He wanted everybody else to win with him. It wasn't because he wanted to shine. He wanted everybody else to win with him.
Absolutely. And like I said, it's something you can't teach.
No.
Like, he definitely wanted everybody to do great. Like, I remember him yelling at people at dodgeball. Yeah. Because he wants to win. Like, he wants you to do good too. Like, even when he got out, like, he was like, come on, catch the ball.
Right.
Like, catch the ball, dude. Like, he wants you to be great. Like, he doesn't want you to, like, to suck, to lose.
Yeah.
And that's, and it goes to show you where he is today.
Yeah, I mean, shit, he's got a nice contract in the NFL, and a lot of kids were like, hey, he ain't going to make it. Yeah. He's too small.
Absolutely.
Nah, it's why he made it. It doesn't matter about the size every time. It matters about how much you want it.
Right.
But
even Eric Cooper, I mean, he was one of my students, also made it to NFL. He played like a year or 2. Like, he was just one of those guys that was driven.
Yeah.
I mean, just one of those guys that had, like, it was just something little extra other people didn't have. You know what I mean? And I was just blessed and fortunate enough, one, to witness it and to help, in a way, I guess, I don't know, hit him with dodgeballs.
Man, I'm literally, dodgeball solved everything.
Dodgeball was life, man.
It solved everything.
And then, like, I even still get guys hitting me up about playing Last Man Standing.
Oh, my God.
No. You guys go so hype. Like, fight to break out.
Every time.
Like, every single
time.
Especially in your years. Fights would just break out. Like, and then, like I said, my whole goal, just make sure the game was fair. Like, if you got hit, you got hit.
Right.
And if you wanted to be a little X and X about it, the whole game's over.
Right.
You're gonna ruin it like that. You're gonna be that guy. You're gonna be the guy that, I won. You're just gonna ruin the whole game.
Cool. I remember that specifically. Like, you ended games because of that.
Sit down. Like, we're good. I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna play on my phone for 5 minutes and don't make a peep. I'm starting the clock over.
Damn.
Yeah.
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do, right?
I'm starting the clock over. Like, look.
Right.
Yep. All right. Yep. Beep. Right back to my game. Here we go, Mario. Take this.
Right.
It's like, look. 5 minutes. I got it marked on my phone.
Right.
We're going back into it. So, like, yeah.
Now be real with me.
All right.
Who was your favorite class back in the day?
Oh,
I need you to
can't
tell
do that.
me because
You're-
he's right there.
I know.
I'm
dude.
right
I know I
here.
can't do
He
that.
was a year ahead of me back
can't.
behind the camera, but who was your
can't.
favorite class? Come on
I
now.
can't say I have favorites. I can't. I don't
That's
like
bullshit.
doing favorites. Like, I have definitely memories that stick out. You know what I mean? Like, here we go. I had some of the all right, and y'all remember Sheldon?
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
That kid, and that kid.
That was
yeah.
whatever.
And you know me, I try so hard, and then now look where he's at now. You know what happened to him?
I don't.
Oh my God. Yeah, super unfortunate. But he ended up getting into some mess up at one of the local bars. I think he ended up killing or shooting somebody.
Oh no shit.
Yeah. So and that kid, excuse me, I remember the most because that's one you miss.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what can I do to help Sheldon? Because like, as soon as I felt like he left. Like, I felt like it was like after, because he was with me for his 7th grade year and his 8th grade year, almost every 9th period.
Yeah.
Like, he was with me in my office because he was just wandering the halls. Like,
right.
Like, I get it. Yeah, I mean, I never wanted to be the dude that was locked in on discipline like that. Like, to be, just sitting in the Jackson type dude. But, like, some kid just needed it. And Sheldon needed that, you know what I mean, that extra attention. And that, I think of all the kids I remember, is like, oh, man, like, what could I have done?
Right.
Could I done this? Could I done that?
But, well, what do you want people to know about you as a teacher? Like,
man.
if you had to tell people who Mr. Jackson is, who would you want them to know who you are?
Like, first and foremost, I'm dope. Like, really?
The guy with the chrome
Like,
dome.
and
You and my dad have the same haircut. So.
I know. Like, I mean, let's get back to me being dope. But at the same time, yeah, as much as, like I said, I have an ego. Like, I'm a humble dude. Like, I teach. I get ripped on. Like, these two dudes are still ripping on me.
It'll forever happen.
It'll forever happen. And I understand that. So if I had to really big up my dopeness, I think I would have to talk about, like, my understanding of how the human being works. I think my knowledge of history, my knowledge of things that have happened in this world, to why things are happening today, to move a person. Like I said, I DJ on the side, so I get to move a crowd sometimes with my music, and to be able to move them with, like, what I'm teaching them or what I'm currently talking about, whether it's the sex ed body parts or whether it's just who your influences are. You know what I mean? Like, I just like to know that there are dope teachers out there. Like, we're doing it. I think every teacher in my building it does a great job. I mean, here's evidence. You know what I mean? And I think that there are people, like, that are also dope, that are trying to do it for the babies, are trying to do it for the right reasons. Obviously, do I wish I was making more money? Obviously, yes. But at the same time, I would like to be doing what I'm doing and making more. But if I was doing something else, I don't think I'd be as happy or as a peaceful soul that I am, and that kind of person that I am. Like, I feel like I'm complete, not content, because I can't really be content because next year I'm gonna get a whole new set of 6th graders.
Right.
So that breaks that contentiousness, like, right up, right then and there.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, so then it goes back into, now I got to figure out this whole new set of humans. I mean, how to get them going. And there's people that think like that. You know what I mean? There's people that really care about this thing called teaching and education. And I want people to know that there's people out there that do that. And I like to let them know I'm one of them. You know what I mean? I really do this thing. And I love health and PE. Oh, I want y'all to know, most important class that you would never have, because my class hurts. History doesn't hurt. Math doesn't hurt. Like, they don't really laugh at you in other classes. Like health and PE needs to be put more, I think, above a lot of these other classes. Just basically on my subject matter. I get to talk about mental health. I've been a therapist, you know what I mean, for kids. Even when losing, even at winning. Like, I got to bring a kid up if they lose. I got to bring a kid down, you know what I mean, if they win. So I think my class is so important. I tell these kids, like, my class shut down the world. You know what I mean? My class is why we got to wear masks now. You know what I mean? Lack of my class. Like, I'm in the gym all the time. I get people that are mad at me because I'm still in the gym. But that's, like, the most healthiest thing that I can do right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Is work out and exercise. Like, Like, that's it. Like, I'm not all up in people's faces at the gym. Like, I'm not like, hey, buddy. Like, nah. Like, there's like 6 people. I go at 4:30 in the morning, and like, it's just like COVID sucks. It's real. Obviously, wear your mask, but at the same time, like, hopefully, we get through it. Vaccines coming, the numbers come out right. But at the same time, I think the best thing everybody can do is take care of themselves. You know what I mean? And health and PE is that first class, is that first mirror, like, to yourself. How do you react after your faults, especially when your faults have been laid bare? Like, sometimes it's dope. I don't want to call it dope, but like, say you get a kid that's super smart, but not very athletic. How does he overcome that? You know what I mean? I like seeing that kid overcome. What if you got a kid that's crazy athletic, but super lazy and lethargic? Like, how do you bring that out of them? How do they battle? And dodgeball kind of brings it to an even, because you can have that kid that's just, he's a hard worker, not the best athlete, but he can tear somebody up, versus, like, say the best athlete is out there showboating, gets blasted in the head in the first couple seconds.
Man.
You know what I mean? So, like I said, it's an equalizer. It's like I said, it's life. And I taught these guys like it's deeper than just gym class. That's why it's health and physical education. It's the
100%.
mirror. It's the mirror.
100%. I mean,
Yeah.
and I was talking to you about this. You know, I personally have, like, you know, levels to. We've all had different teachers. We've all had, you know, not to pipe up Mr. Jackson, but I mean, hey, he deserves the pipe up too. But there's levels to teachers. I mean, to me personally, we've all had many, many teachers. There's great teachers, there's excellent teachers, awesome teachers, but then there's those memorable teachers at the top. Jackson's always been that memorable teacher to me. I only have 2 offhand. Shout out Mr. Warner as being the other one, because he's a phenomenal man.
That's my
Jimmy
guy.
Warner, my guy. But Jackson being, you know, my gym teacher, health and PE. I got to correct myself when I do that.
Right.
But, you know, that the memorable moments that I've had, you know, that's what that builds us. That builds us as kids. That builds us as now adults. It comes right here. It comes from within. It comes from your teachers. Those are the important people. Those are who bring it together. But, you know, outside of that, you know, outside of teaching, outside of that, who is Mr. Jackson? You know, what hobbies do you have? You love anime, you love football, you love superheroes, you love it all. Tell me about,
they used to say I'm a jack of all trades, a master at none, and I like that because it keeps me hungry at different things. Yes, I like the anime. Yes, crazy in the comic books. I got like $3,000 worth of comic books like in my pocket right now that I've actually read. So don't come at me if you don't want to get destroyed. But at the same time, like I said, I'm really into comics. I'm really into my daughter. You know what I mean? She's super dope too. And I'm just like, I don't know, like, I'm a normal dude. I try to be normal. And at the same time, I know where when to do nothing, and I know when to get crazy. Like, I got some friends that always say they're still on the other side of the tracks and do what they do, and I get that, and I love them. And I also have friends that are on the other side of the tracks and do, like, the great things in the business, and I love them too, but I love the balance. I think I love that about myself the most, the balance. You know what I mean? Like, I got some hoods, and my friends and family I still hang around, and I got doctors and nurses, lawyers and my friends and family, real estate brokers, and I still hang around them, and they all contribute to my, like, being a little bit of what I always call myself, eclectic, my eclectic nature.
That's a great word to use.
So,
that is a phenomenal word to use.
Yeah.
No, I mean, your circle is so important to life.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
that is the first thing. You know, last year, obviously, we went through a lot as a society. Every person went through something different, and it doesn't matter what it could have been. For me personally, the first thing that I've come into now 2021 is I've learned about my circle, and I've learned who I'm going to keep in my circle and why I'm going to keep people in my circle. Not because I want to push people away. You want to have people, you can talk to whoever, it doesn't matter their profession, it doesn't matter who they are, what they do, how they do things. If they are supportive of you and they care about you and we are able to be human beings, have a beer, do whatever, you know, those are your friends. Those are the people you keep around, and they have their own 9 to 5. They may not even have a 9 to 5. They might do something different. I mean, Neil and I have been friends for how long? He doesn't have a 9 to 5. No. He works with his mom in the catering business, and he's happy. He's doing great,
he's doing
and he's helping me with this on the side. You know. Yeah, 12 to 12. He's working.
Yeah.
He's busting his
But
ass.
you love it though. Helping the family, that's so dope. Like, do what you love.
You got to
and
do
then
what
make
you
some money
love.
off of it.
Exactly. And if you can, profits, obviously, you gotta live.
Yeah,
you gotta live, so you gotta make something.
Absolutely.
But like the people that you surround yourself with are who help you grow. It doesn't matter what you do, how you do it. It's all about, and that's part of that elevation. I've talked about that in podcasts before. Elevation comes from within. It comes from who you surround yourself with.
Absolutely.
You can't have negativity and bullshit in your life. I've had too much of that recently. People, people got these opinions, and we were talking about that off camera. Everybody got something to say, but they don't have any intelligence behind it.
Absolutely.
And it's just like, why? Like, why do you care? Why do you care if something's happening in somebody else's life? If you can, unless it's positive and you want to share encouragement, that's what matters.
And that's when, like I said, those civics come in. Like, we have to know what is civically like acceptable. You know what I mean? We have to be able to agree on those things. And like, I have a lot of friends that are on the other side of the political spectrum, and I do try to talk to them, and I try to bring them, what can we agree on? All right, so can we agree on this? Can we agree on that? Then if we can agree on that, then we can make a base. And then, like, I think sometimes the things that we agree on are separated by the how. You know what I mean? And that's dope. You know what I mean? The how is dope. It's like different, say, if you're going to be run heavy in football or you're going to be pass heavy in football. If you're scoring touchdowns, you can discuss the how.
Right.
And I get that. So that's where I think a lot of the opinion comes in. But then you got to do what the greatest coach, Herm Edwards, ever said. You got to KYP. You got to know your personnel. You know what I mean? And you got to work with what you have and not necessarily with what you want. You know what I mean? Like, everybody, I feel like they want to be something that they don't have.
Right.
And that's hard. And that's hard to pull somebody away from. You know what I mean? Like, I remember, like, all the people always like Mr. Jackson, like, well, who's the worst kind of kids? And the kids, the baddest kids, and unfortunately always have the same, they're the same style. They're like small, skinny, but they think they're big and huge. And those are always like the kids that comes with the most static. Never like the huge kids, never like the really smart kids or popular kids. It's always like some short kid. You know, that's like thinks that he's like the world. And then I think that's where a lot, and it starts from there and that type of personality. So, you know what I mean? Then it goes from like, like it just, and it varies. You know what I mean? There's so many examples of the human being, you know what I mean, that's out there. And it just, I don't know, I felt like I got off on a tangent.
Hey, that's the tangents we got to go on, because life is just like, there's so much to it, and it's so much. There's so much to talk about, and that's like, it's just, the people that like you said, you're surrounding yourself with people that have different opinions. But you're allowed. We are human beings. Nobody is gonna think the same. If you think the same, if you think everybody should think the same, you're wrong.
Right.
That's exactly how life is not supposed to be. Everybody is supposed to develop their own thought process. And really, it starts at home. And the whole home thing is, you're supposed to, my parents taught me to love everybody. It doesn't matter about anything. Color, skin, religion, race, or gender, anything. It really doesn't matter. As long as you're able to love, care, and support everybody, that's what matters. It starts at home, man. And you got to find those people that have that same mentality to bring your circle and keep growing. It don't matter your age. You grow. It doesn't matter if you're 24 or 84. You can still grow and be a better person.
And this is where, like I said, I get into a different subject of school. Like, if you go into math or social studies or even history, all the answers are like the same. If they ask you like a question, like history class, math class, sometimes social study class, like all 30 students in that classroom have to come back with the same answer. And I always say, like, my class is the most important because I can ask that a question in health class, what'd you eat for breakfast today? And I can get 30 different answers.
Right.
But they're all correct. So that opens up like the world of possibilities, correctness. So like, I think in that flexibility in a class like mine, like, you don't really have that kind of flexibility.
No, you don't.
In those classes. And I feel like a class that has that much flexibility needs more attention paid to it. You know what I mean? Not just the way that we have like, oh, it's gym class every other day or half this semester like that. I think like learning through the physical is probably the first way human beings learn. Right? Like, either we got to chase down or prey or dinner, or we got to run from our predator.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's one of the
first
ways
thing you learn is you learn to walk.
Yeah.
You learn to talk. Those are physical aspects of life. And then you get to those, that's the most important part of it, isn't it? That's the first thing they teach you when you're, an infant or a baby.
Right.
Yeah,
learn communication, talk, learn the vowels. This is why babies make the A, I, U sounds.
Yep.
They learn those and then come to consonants and then gibberish and drooling.
Right. That's what happens. Thank God. I mean, my dog, that's my child, but that's what he does. Thank God. He just can't talk to me. But hey, whatever.
You can pretend that he talks.
I feel like he can though. Like I feel like when you have an animal, you have that language. Like I just rescued a dog a couple weeks ago, and he's been phenomenal. But I don't know. It's my child.
That's dope. Yeah, I love dogs. I got a German Shepherd. I think he can talk all the time.
No, it's just, they have personalities. Yeah, mine's a Husky Shepherd mix, and he's got personality beyond belief.
That's a good dog.
Oh yeah, he's young pup, but he's got it. Just like Mila has her own personality back there. His Shepherd. All right, guys. Well, to wrap things up, obviously Mr. Jackson, is phenomenal to have you here. But you know how we always end. There's always that final shed thought. I had a really good one this week. I had a conversation with my dad yesterday. I was working. I work from home, and I have a lot of flexibility in my job. And he called me right after I had an interview because I'm a recruiter, and he sounded shook up. And right before that, we were at a family friend's, and his friend's wife is not doing well. She's in the hospital. She's been fighting cancer more than once, and I guess his brother, who he considers his brother, really was shaken up, and he's never seen that out of him. And I could hear it on the phone call. Like, he just sounded so broken. It didn't sound like my dad. You can hear a personality in him when he talks, but he just was very monotonous. And the one thing he said to me is, life is a gift. You have to cherish the moments that you have. You have to cherish what you have in front of you, because life truly is that gift. And I watched a movie. It was Disney, actually, Soul. It just came out recently.
I haven't seen it yet.
You'll have to check it out. It actually kind of tied into the final shed thought, funny enough. And I'm not going to spoil it for anybody, but really, life is truly that gift. We talk about all these things and talk about always wanting to grow, inspire, and do what we can. But deep down in reality, the gift of life is what you have in front of you and what you have currently in the physical moment. I'm very thankful how my years went. I bought a house. I got a dog. I have a loving girlfriend who's a phenomenal person. I have a loving family. I'm surrounded by loving people, and I'm able to share all of this with you guys on Shed Talk.
Blessed.
Very blessed. And life is truly a gift when you're able to come back, sit down, and realize that life is so beautiful. And you may not have something. Like, I know that my dad's friend and somebody I consider a friend could be, without someone at some point, and that sucks. And that is, that's when you sit back and you really do go, wow, life is phenomenal. Life is that gift. I mean, it's a touching subject. It really is. But, like, it's so important to really sit back and go, wow, I'm really blessed.
Yeah, man.
Life is that good,
That's good stuff, man.
Of course. I mean, that's just...
And I hope, like I said, you're sharing your blessings.
You gotta share.
You gotta share. You can't be I hate to use this word, but conservative with your blessings. But I mean, like, you got to be liberal with your blessings. So, and that's dope. And I appreciate this blessing that came on. This was a good time.
The light went out.
A light.
It's all right. Well, we still got a little bit of light left, but it's been a pleasure to run this back. We're excited. It's 2021. We got a lot of big things coming. Stay tuned. I also have a nice gift from our sponsor, Jokes on Us. Nice little 1-for-1 that he created. A nice sample. A nice gym shirt. A nice lounge around.
I wear it to the gym tomorrow
Beautiful.
Morning.
But that's for you, sir.
I appreciate
to spread the jokes, spread the love.
Yeah.
And
this is JC Homeshire?
Yeah, this is JC Homeshire.
Yeah, go ahead, JC.
He's been doing some great stuff.
What's up, JC?
Yeah, he's got a cool brand coming, and I mean, he's been doing this for years. And
does he still dance?
No, he doesn't as much anymore.
He would dance all the
I don't want to spoil what he's getting
down
into,
alley.
but
Okay.
he's getting back into that little bit of creative side.
Okay,
but
that's what's up, JC.
he had a knee injury, and he had to
poor
knock
guy.
off the dancing.
Poor guy.
I always remember those moves. I had an episode with him and we talked about it.
I can definitely remember a time he was standing up against the wall and he was like pop locking up against the wall. Like, what are you doing, kid? Like, and he was pretty good though, but you can't be pop locking in the wall.
Yeah.
Like, seriously.
We love
JC,
it.
he's a good dude.
But well, guys, I appreciate you guys tuning in as always. Appreciate Mr. Jackson coming in, sharing some love in the shed. We're here in a beautiful place. Obviously, you guys know where to find me. I'll find me on Twitter, find me on Instagram at Tony Shed Talk across the board. You can find our page here. Please subscribe, on our YouTube page. Please find us on our Facebook. You can share that, find Shed Talk Podcast. You'll find us all over YouTube. Like I said, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can find our page at Shed Talk Podcast. And actually, do you don't have any social media you want people to follow you?
I just have a Facebook. If you can find me, you can find me. If you can't,
sucks to be you.
Facts.
But hey, well, that's all we got. And as always, we like you, we love you, and we'll see you next time in the shed.